a new episode of Hallmark Heartbeats podcast. I'm your host, Camille, and I am so grateful to be joined by Lucie and Rhiannon. Rhiannon is the star of the newest Hallmark movie called Journey of My Heart, and Lucie is the director. And I'm so happy to be joined by you guys. And Rhiannon, since you were just here 2 weeks ago, let's start with Lucie. Want to introduce yourself to the listeners?
My name's Lucie Guest, and I directed Journey of My Heart, and starring Rhiannon, Riri. And what else would you like? Do you want me to do in your listening?
I wanted to know, like I said, I was wanting to know, you started off as an actress first. What made you want to transition to behind the camera?
So I think basically what I love about directing or behind the camera is the completion, like the whole process of telling the story. So I love feeling like you're part of this full journey when you can be a part of pre-production and production and then post-production, and you really see this whole sort of like story come to life, and
You feel more involved with the process.
Yeah, it feels nice to be able to be a part of something for that long, and it like sits with you when you're acting. Sometimes you go into somebody's show and you're there for a few days or 2 months or a few weeks, and then you leave, and then you see it later. And then when you're directing, you're really a part of bringing it to life, which feels exciting.
And part of every aspect, and stuff that I ignorantly didn't even really realize. Like, there was one day we were on set and one of the wardrobe girls came down and showed Lucie like a whole bunch of different, and it was just down to like a sweater. Like, Lucie has to pick everything, every aspect of that movie, and tell a story with every different field. It's really cool to watch. There's nothing that happens in this movie that Lucie didn't go through Lucie.
That's cool. Has working behind the camera given you a different perspective or appreciation when you're actually an actress, when you're in front of the camera?
Yeah, I'm learning all the time, because every actor needs something different from every different director. Like, it's this fluid thing. It's not really there isn't a set formula of how you talk to an actor or how you talk about a character or performances. But I feel very protective towards actors, and I really see what they're doing, and not every actor. And sometimes you have to find a groove with certain actors. Like, I communicate a certain way, and I realize, and this is years of being an actor myself and working with different scene partners and different directors, you need different things from different actors and different directors. So sometimes the first few days is just learning how they want to be communicated to. And, it's a learning process. I'll always keep learning that because but that part is really, I didn't realize, I was always afraid to say that I was an actor when I was a director, because I didn't think I'd be taken seriously. But I realized the best directors really understand acting. And I'm really protective.
That's so cool.
Because of that.
Who were some directors that you took inspiration from?
Well, when I was 17 or 18, I sent Steven Soderbergh a VHS tape of a movie I had made, because I thought maybe he would not discover me, but I thought maybe he'd mentor me or whatever. But I didn't really.
For those who don't know what VHS is, this is like before DVD.
Oh my God! Right.
That's wild. Yeah.
little boxes, rectangular things, and you had to rewind.
Oh wow! My God, I'm old. It's fine.
Don't worry, Lucie. We're all old.
Yeah.
Do you have any desire to go behind the camera, Rhiannon?
Not right now. I watch, even Lucie as an example. It's just, I can't do it yet. And I know that. And it's such an art that I so wholeheartedly respect. And, Lucy was explaining, and I think the last podcast we did, just the amount of training that she did to get to the place where she's at. While there are people that do it, and good for them, that can just sort of say, okay, I want to direct now and pick up an episode of something or a whole movie. For me, I really view it as an incredible skill that needs to be studied. And I would love to one day maybe learn, but it's scary. It's really, really scary. So I don't know. For now, I'm very comfortable. I'm comfortable on the other side.
I would love to have Riri direct.
I've heard that people shadow. Sorry, huh?
I would love to have Rhiannon direct me.
Yeah.
Oh God, no, I could not. No, I absolutely could not. No.
I would love that.
Oh my God, it would be fun to see you two work together again.
Oh, I would love it. My dream is to be in something that Lucy's written, is directing, and is also starring in. And I would like to be in that too. Like, I feel like we could play sisters maybe or something.
Sisters,
or lovers, whatever,
or lovers. I'll be the older, like, kind of like, haggard sister who's
no.
It's so funny. Do you find working with a female director different than working with a male one?
Absolutely. And I've had wonderful experiences with both male and female directors, but there really is, there's a language that women almost speak to each other, or just like a different form of communication. I don't know. I found Lucy, as she sort of said, like, she just so deeply cared about us and wanted to make sure that we were always okay. And that I kind of equate to like a mothering, just female sort of instinct. That's not to say that men can't have that or don't, and vice versa, but I just felt so safe. She just makes her actors feel safe. And I think maybe part of that is just a female, just sort of touch, intuition. I'm not sure. But I loved it. My favorite part is, of course, being directed by another actor, which we sort of touched on, which again is just a whole other language that we can kind of speak to each other, that just makes it so much easier.
Yeah, that's one thing that I also love about this film, is that it's so female centered. You being the lead, being ornithologist, everything. And even though Darien did his part as the male lead, the movie was mostly centered about you, and then Lucy also being director. And who was the writer and stuff?
The writer his name is Bruce Johnson. He's fantastic, and this movie was really close to his heart, so he definitely did put a lot of a lot of care into this script. And we also had an amazing indigenous script consultant. She's very talented. Her name is Sarah Kelly, and I met her through the film industry here years ago, and so she's also getting into directing herself.
Oh, good for her. So she should.
Yeah, definitely. There's such a lack of female directors. I'm glad that it's a growing industry for women now.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long ago when the first woman director won an Oscar for Best Director. It should have been.
Yeah, we're seeing more and more, which is awesome. I even thought about it recently. I can't remember what I was on, but there was a female camera op. And it took seeing that for me to go, I've never seen this before. And I felt so bad that I hadn't realized there are a lot of positions in the crew and still in our film industry as a whole that are very dominated by men. And it's really cool to see women getting the equal opportunity that we have always deserved.
Yes, definitely. Okay, so let's talk Journey of My Heart. I know the original title was Love on the Wings of Eagles, and I was disappointed that they changed the title because I liked the first one. I was telling somebody else, it seemed very poetic.
I would love to hear that.
Who came up with the idea, and why did you guys come up with the idea for the title change?
I'm not sure. I don't know. there's so many different reasons why titles get changed. Sometimes it's also like because there's already a movie that's similar. Like there's so many reasons. I'm not usually involved in that. Not always involved in that spot, so I don't know why they changed the title of this movie in particular. But I like both titles.
Yeah, I was telling someone, it's just like it feels so generic. Journey of My Heart. Love on the Wings of Eagles just seems so visual and
It has a word eagle in it, so I think
yeah, and everything. It was just cool. Where was this filmed? Oh my god, the scenery was gorgeous, like drop dead gorgeous. Where was that filmed?
Alaska Squamish.
Huh?
Squamlaska.
Was it also Native American land? Like what where you guys were at? Like what Eric said, was a lot of what you guys were at, was it Native American land? Or was it?
We were at a couple of we were on protected land for some of the movie. Yes, it was basically a lot of the scenery where you were deep into the forest. We were really lucky to film in some of these spots, and we were given special permission to film there.
And like it looked absolutely beautiful. The panoramic view and the like overhead view of the mountains and everything. It's just crazy. Rhiannon, girl, let's talk about your physical comedy. You had me cracking up with all of the trips and falls and the backpack you fell backwards and everything. Like, was that ad-libbed, or did you just like, how did that work? How did you do it?
No, it was scripted. Bruce wrote that in, and I think it makes sense with the character. She is very much out of her comfort zone, and similar to me, and I know Lucie experienced this too. So many of us, when we were doing these treks, we were tripping and falling, and it's not easy. Everything is so slippery.
Was that bag heavy?
Oh, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
Darien's bag was really heavy. They gave me the lightest backpack, which I'm very grateful for. But yeah, Darien had one that was weighted. His was heavy. Mine, not at all.
His was awkward. Like the rope kept falling. I know that he was just like, it was hanging on by that, like it's a climbing rope. So he had to like every time.
Oh my god.
That's that method.
Yeah.
So did you do all of that on your own, Rhiannon? No stunts or anything like that?
We had a stunt double. She was so lovely. I wish I could think of her name. And so talented. She was the one that did the fall from the cliff. But other than that, I think everything was Darien and myself.
Yeah. I like the one where
you
guys were doing the raft thing. You fell off the raft.
Oh yeah. That was so fun. Yeah, that was awesome. That was obviously in the script. But it was hard. That one we had to spend a lot of time like figuring out the logistics of it. Because while that is a raft that they do use at that, what is that place? Like a camp sort of, we were staying at, that was like an actual camp. I remember what was that?
A protected forest or like a UBC Forest Reserve, I think is what it is. But they have, it's also like a 20-minute drive in from the road down this dirt kind of, not logging road, it was more of like a dirt road. And there's no Wi-Fi or self-service. There's Wi-Fi, there's no self-service, but there's Wi-Fi spots. But yeah.
Oh yeah, right.
We found this lake that is really like secluded. In fact, like a bear swam by while we were.
Oh yeah. The day we were in the water, there was a little bear. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that might have been a little scary.
I was terrified because, as we've discussed, I'm from Australia. I'm so scared. I don't trust these bears. I don't know. I was scared.
You're from Australia, the land of like everything.
Yeah,
scary.
but
We
yeah,
just had
exactly.
this
But I don't know about those bears. Yeah.
We just had this conversation a month ago about
That's right.
Australia and all of the animals there. And she's like,
Yeah.
we were talking about me going to Australia. I was like, girl, no. Not with all the animals.
Yeah, that's right.
That's too funny. But with the eagles and stuff, was that like I know that Romeo was Hercules, right? Romeo's played by, so that was a real eagle with and he ate your vegan burger.
Correct. That's correct. Yep. It was really good though, so fair enough.
You introduced an eagle to vegan diet.
Yeah, I suppose you probably never had a plant before. Yeah, that's right.
Vegan.
Yeah.
That is too funny. That was hilarious. But was all the other eagles that were like, were they like real? Were you guys filmed with the actual eagles, or was that like CGI? Not saying that. I mean, like you could tell me.
Yeah, it was a combination of some footage that we acquired that were and then also some CGI. So it was like a little bit of a combination of both. We shot like everything that we had. We had the eagle for a couple of days, so we made shoot a lot of stuff with Hercules.
I think it was such a beautiful thing with all of the nests and eagles. I've never seen one in real life. I would love to though.
Oh yeah, they're so beautiful. It was just a real pleasure to be able to see an animal like that up close and personal. It was breathtaking.
Yeah.
You said it in the Hallmarking's podcast that you were scared of birds.
I hate birds. Yeah, I hate them. I don't like them at all. They're sketchy. I don't like them. I think they make me nervous. And this, like, he was a beast. I remember there was one of the takes we shot where when he took off, his wings, when they like smacked, not bad, they hit me in the face because their wingspan is so massive. And there's a thing about being around an animal, like they have so much, they're powerful creatures. I was scared. But then the moment I met Hercules and his handler, it was just so obvious that this was a gentle soul. This bird was like a very sweet, beautiful guy. And so I thoroughly enjoyed getting to work with him.
Yeah, that's so nice. Oh, I'm so jealous. So jealous. Excuse me. So let's talk about Darien, the other half of this movie. How was it working with Darien?
It was so fun. That was, again, my second time working with him. We did another MOW just before this one, I think. And then, this was our second time. It was wonderful. I had such a good time, especially having worked with him before. It meant that we just sort of had we just knew each other. And so it made it easy. It was like coming into work and knowing what to expect. It made it really, really very easy.
I'm still waiting for word on when that movie gets released.
Yeah, same. I don't know why they won't say. Maybe I think it's probably soon though. We'll see. We'll have another chat then when it comes out.
I know. Shoot, me, you, and what's his name?
Jesse Hutch. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's too funny. But no, I mean that. Okay, so I have to ask because there are women who swooned over Darien. Is he as good looking on screen in person as he is on screen?
Yeah, he's gorgeous. He's gorgeous. And his body is like insane. Like standing next to him, he's just a unit of a man. Like he trains clearly. He works very hard for what he's got. And he's also just very, very tall. I don't know exactly how tall he is. I was about to say that
when you guys had that fishing scene, he stood over like, he's a dude.
I actually did say to him when we shot our first kissing scene, I was like, you are the tallest man I've ever kissed in my life. Like he's a big boy. And I think the casting, we were kind of talking about this earlier, the casting was just perfect. He really just seems like somebody that really lives that life.
Yeah, he just seems like he would be a strong person. Hey, Lucie, did you how involved were you with picking the cast? Was it like, what were you looking for to when you were looking for an Eric or whatever?
Well, I was hoping that the actor that could play Eric, which Darien nailed, was somebody that I would want to get stuck in the woods with.
Nice.
And I was like, I want, want him to be able to, if you're like going on this sort of like treacherous adventure, you want a guide that looks like they can chop a tree down with their bare hands.
Can't fight a bear or whatever.
Yeah. Can navigate a canoe because, so anyway.
What's so cool about him, his character too, is like he wasn't just, like Mountain Man, Grizzly Adams too. He was also like a poet and a classic.
There was so much depth to Eric's character. Lucy and I talked about that a fair bit while we were shooting the movie. There were so many layers to him. It was really beautiful. I loved that he was a classically trained pianist and he had just such a beautiful backstory. And sometimes in these MOWs, it's so heavily focused on the female role. It was really nice to read a script where they really told the story of the male character. It was lovely.
Yeah, that was nice too. It's funny because your nickname for him was Beethoven, and
right.
I know that it is a reference to the composer, because of classical music. But I kept thinking of the dog.
Same. And I think there was even, we never talked about this, but I think that was the joke. Like I do say, roll over Beethoven.
Yes.
Is that a play on, I don't know. I assumed in my head, I was like, this is a play on the dog too.
Yes. Same here.
Yeah.
Double meaning, double rainbow, Yes.
I laughed so hard too. It's like, I know that it's rough, but because I think after I saw it the second time, I was like, oh, they're talking about the composer. That's why their nickname was.
Right. There you go.
First time I'm thinking it's the dog that they're talking.
Dog, yeah.
So bad. But I love the dog.
Like he goes, that's fair.
Do you have any behind the scenes secrets working with Darren?
Well,
I'm trying to think. I do want to think of something because that's a good question.
We did add a line where Grace's character says,
oh yeah,
I see you've met Eric, and then Rhiannon didn't know what she meant, and she describes him as the Rock with hair, which it got cut out of the movie, but I think it's pretty accurate. Maybe not as buff as the Rock, but
I mean, it's close. Yeah, they certainly do. They look alike. Absolutely. I think he said that too, is that he gets called that a lot, or like, yeah. I'm trying to think. No, I really can't say. I just can't think of anything. He's any secrets about Darien? I'm sure he could say a few about us, but I can't think of anything.
Well, I mentioned this in the other podcast, is that he grew up on a boat. So he was very comfortable in the water. Like he was totally fine to like fall in the water and canoe.
Yeah.
Like, he knew how to do all of that. Wasn't, that was just his knowledge of like, it felt authentic because it wasn't like he wasn't used to being on the water, which was nice. And he was not afraid of the bird, which was
no, not at all.
So yeah, he didn't have to like worry about any of that, which is nice. Although the bird never ate his food, and the bird did kind of land right beside him.
Right next to him. Yeah.
He was really close to the eagle.
Yeah.
Really
and he was so comfortable with everything Lucy asked, like he was just super comfortable with. I remember even the one day, which is just such a small part of the scene, like where he's loading the canoes. It's early in the movie. He's loading the canoes into their like canoe slots. I don't know what that's called. And Lucy had him do it over and over and over again because we had to, and that was heavy.
Yeah.
And he worked his butt off in this film for sure.
Yeah,
that was a workout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The thing is, like, and also he fell in the water. he fell in the water twice. Like he came out of the water. You know, the scene where she then pulls him in
Yes.
the water. We actually got him to do that twice just in case. Like we only had one take. But
Oh, I didn't remember that. I
Yeah.
didn't know that. Did we do that twice?
he did that twice. So I mean, it was nice for him to. He was just he was like, yeah, no problem, I'll go.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that whole scene was sort of like improvised once they fell into the water. So we just kind of kept the cameras rolling, and then they, you know, just kept.
And we were like kind of a ways away from you, Lucie. Like Lucie was on kind of like another dock, which is, I suppose, we had a camera with us on our dock, and then there was you and another camera on another dock, I think.
That's
and
right.
like, so for Lucie to give us any direction was like screaming, but once you get in the water, you can hardly hear that. We just rolled and rolled and rolled. And I feel like at some point, Darien and I were like, surely we've got it now at this point. But it was really fun. I think that's when some of the best stuff happens. And Lucie let us do that often, where she would just let the camera sort of roll. We did it with different scenes when we were hiking and just see what happens. And it was really fun. We don't often get to do that. Often with these sort of MOWs, like there's this, like, we're very married to the script and you have to stick to it. But Lucie gave us a lot of opportunities to just sort of play. And some of that did end up in the movie, which is awesome.
Yeah, I appreciated the other thing that I did appreciate about this film was, like your previous movie, The 27-Hour Day, there was no interrupted kiss. Because you know Hallmark,
right? Yeah,
always has an interrupted kiss. I commented on this in a story in an Instagram. I was like, there was no eagle dropping, there was no bear attack.
No, totally. I actually was surprised by that when I read it, and I think we were kind of talking, we all watched it together last night. I think we were kind of talking about that, is that I haven't personally done an MOW where there's more than one kiss, like, or a Hallmark movie. I mean, I really liked it because it felt more honest. Like, how often in real life are we having all these kiss fake outs all the time? No, you just want to kiss somebody, kiss them, you know?
Yes. Do you know how many times I screamed at the screen, like, kiss the girl already?
Yeah, totally.
I sound like Little Mermaid, like that. You guys, this is like the first Hallmark movie with indigenous actors. How was that? I mean, you got to work with like Ray Thunderchild, and the story of him and the eagle feathers and stuff like that. How was that working with them, and being part of that project to, like, say you're the first film to have them really featured in a film like that?
Well, I just think it's nice to work with authentic actors that are really talented. And Ray's a really talented actor. I worked with him on a show called Health Nuts, and so he was on my mind already. And he's just such an incredible man to be around. Also tall. Fun fact.
Oh, he's the tallest, maybe the tallest man I've ever met. He's huge.
How tall is he?
Tall. Like, I don't know, but I think 7 feet.
Wow.
That's, yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah.
I'll ask him tomorrow.
I say 7 feet. And he's just everything he says is so magical, and in the movie and just in real life, and also he's hilarious. The thing about Ray is that he's actually super funny, and I wish we could have more of his comedic sensibilities in this movie, because he's constantly making jokes and putting people at ease and like making them laugh, you know, like when you're so stressed, a busy day, and then Ray comes on and he like says, he's just like, he's the life of the room.
Truly.
Like, this definitely brings this really fun energy to every room he goes to, and
also every take too. It makes it, he's such a wonderful actor in the sense that you just don't know what he's going to do. And I mean that as a compliment. Like, he just so thinks on his toes and will kind of just do whatever comes to him. And so it keeps all of us as actors on our toes as well. And it makes you want to listen more. And it's almost unpredictable. You don't know what Ray's going to do, and it makes it so much fun.
That is awesome. My question to you guys is, like, working with them has, how do I ask this without sounding horrible? But yeah, you guys have seen the news about the indigenous struggles and the reservation schools and stuff like that. Has it sort of like giving you guys a personal viewpoint in that struggle, I guess? Because I mean, I know for me, I was not aware as much until now, you know, when the news all broke out with the bodies of children, which kills me. I mean, working with Ray and Paul and Grace and, you know, stuff like that, and hearing their stories, has that kind of like made it more personal to you as well?
Well, I think, you know, Canada has a lot of reconciliation to go through. And, you know, there's like a really deep, dark history here. And it's incredible that it's like, I mean, now the numbers are, I don't know, past 6,000 unmarked graves. There's, yeah, it's just, you know, there's a lot of like history here that's getting like the residential school system. I think the last one was closed 20 years ago. So it's very fresh. And it also is a lot of the awareness that's coming out about Canada's past it's good that it's now like the truth is slowly like coming out, but it seems like not fast enough, and we're not learning enough about what happened faster. And so, yeah, the news about the unmarked graves came out while we were filming this movie. But this is something we've known for a long time, and people who are in the know have kind of been waiting for this day. But if it creates more of awareness to Canada as a whole, to understand its history and to really go, like for me, it you know, something that I knew about because I was I kind of was interested in the history of it, and I think that it's something that I'm always constantly learning more and more about. And I know that it's such a privilege to not have to think about it and not learn about Canada's history, because if you're a white person in Canada, you're a settler obviously here, and you're not always, when you don't have to face a certain struggle, then it's not you don't think that it's something that you need to learn or study or really have empathize for and start to sort of like advocate for, because it's a privilege to not have to worry about things like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice to be able to sort of like, I didn't think this movie to me is a rom-com with amazing supporting cast. And it's a really beautiful, heart-opening movie. But the news about the residential school coming out at the same time, of course, was good. It was just like time for awareness to be, I guess, hopefully more people can know about the history, and we can all, you know, start to learn a little bit more about the truth of what happened.
I think there's some, I can't think of the title. I think both you and I auditioned for roles in it. There are some really very important series that are coming out. I obviously didn't book it. But that are telling these stories and telling them with that being the focal point. And I think that that's really, really important.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of series coming out about the residential schools, and it's told by indigenous like artists and writers, which is who should be telling that story.
Exactly.
And so it you know, look out for those. I think one of them is going to be CBC, but there's a couple of series coming. So yeah, it'll be good to tune into that.
Yeah.
Hey, what would you like the viewers to take from this movie?
It's something that I actually should apply to myself, where it is like, we constantly live, you're so afraid to step out of your comfort zone. And that's not where the magic happens. I, much like Abby, if I was told, okay, Rhiannon, you got to go into this place by yourself, you know, you've got a guide, but like do your best kind of thing, I would be terrified. And quite frankly, I would probably say no. But I think that the idea to just follow every opportunity that you get and never turn anything down, and because that's where the really special stuff happens.
Well, thank you guys for letting me talk to you. I had so much fun, and I will hope to talk to you guys again.
Of course. Thank you so much.